Are you tired of being bullied and underestimated? Do you wish you could escape to another world and become unbeatable? Then you need to hear about Yuuya Tenjou's incredible journey and I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too. He was a bullied and outcast teenager who discovers a secret room that leads him to another world. But that's not all. He soon discovers that his skills from the fantasy world work in the real world too, and he becomes unrivaled in both worlds. From a pudgy outcast to a powerful hero with the ability to use his skills in both worlds, Yuuya's story is one you won't want to miss. Join us as we dive into the action-packed adventure of I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too. Our protagonist Yuuya struggles with rejection from society and constant bullying. He's overweight, bullied by his classmates, and ostracized by his unsupportive family. He's not particularly talented at anything, so he sees his life as a miserable chore he has to go through. The only person who seems to be looking out for Yuuya is his grandfather, but even he dies, leaving Yuuya his house. As he's wandering the streets, Yuuya hears a girl in trouble. Swallowing his fear, he rushes to try to save her but ends up getting beaten up instead. As the police arrive, he gets up and walks away. After losing his part-time job and reaching rock bottom, Yuuya is overwhelmed by self-hate and frustration, so he starts breaking all the mirrors in his house. As he takes out his frustrations on a mirror in the wall, it leads to the discovery of a secret room that belonged to his grandpa. In this room, he finds a door to another world, multiple video game options, and his current statistics in the real world. He quickly moves to the other world and starts acquiring skills and items to progress the story and get ahead. He even develops a new skill known as true martial arts when he's suddenly interrupted by a huge ogre trying to attack the house. Fortunately, there's a force field around the house that protects him. He throws a spear at the ogre from inside the house, piercing it through its chest in one clean shot. The ogre is defeated and dies. By killing the ogre, Yuuya gains its XP, bringing him to level 100 immediately and providing multiple rare items. He finds that he can also convert the XP to real-world money. The next morning, he awakens to a completely new body, one that is youthful and lean. After buying some new clothes and getting used to his new looks, he goes to take out a few more foes to make sure his previous battle wasn't a fluke, and he does so quickly. Despite his initial fear of going back to school, he decides to continue exploring this new and exciting world, learning more and more about it as time goes on. However, his fear was totally unfounded because the next day at school is entirely different from any other, as everyone looks at him with surprise and wonder. It seems that Yuuya's new looks are advantageous in many ways, and he experienced one of these advantages in finally being accepted into society. Up next, Yuuya is still getting used to his new body and the strange new world he finds himself in. He is contacted by a girl he saved a few days earlier as he is pacing the streets. It turns out that the girl is Kaori, a student at the esteemed Usei Academy. Despite his lack of academic aptitude, Kaori grants him admission to the academy, explaining that the school places more weight on moral character than literary ability. Yuuya initially hesitates to enroll but eventually decides to go. While there, he encounters the chairman who thanks him for saving his daughter and extends an invitation to the academy. Yuuya is brought back to thoughts of his grandfather as the chairman emphasizes that there's more worth in a person's values than their intelligence. We're introduced to his new class teacher, Sawada. She is a talented educator and the students aren't afraid to compliment her teaching skills. Then, Yuuya walks into his first class at the elite academy and introduces himself to the group, only to be met with the expressions of the stunned students. Several girls and even some guys approach him during break time because of his newfound attractiveness. During lunch, he meets Ryo and Shingo, two new friends who share his interest and talk to him. This is completely new for Yuuya, for whom being treated with hostility and being made fun of used to be just another day. After discussing clubs with his new friends, Yuuya talks with the chairman about his day. He confesses that this was the first time he had ever enjoyed school and how he was treated as an equal by others for the first time in his life. The chairman is happy to hear this and gladly accepts his offer to attend the academy. Later that day, Yuuya even goes out with the chairman's daughter Kaori and enjoys some fresh fruit. She tries to keep a conversation going and teases him a bit. Yuuya still acts a bit too awkward, stiff, and unaccustomed to the way friendships work, likely because it's something he never had in his life. It's endearing to watch Yuuya make friends because we know the kind of lonely life he's lived up until this point. This explains his awkwardness and stiffness in social interactions, and it even adds a certain kind of charm and relatability to his character. What's certain is that Yuuya really deserves some friends after everything he's been through. Later, Yuuya returns to the other dimension and continues leveling up, considering venturing outside the farm. In the forest, he encounters an orc attacking a wounded girl, and his values won't let him just walk away. Yuuya immediately takes it on in battle. Although he was also vulnerable, he manages to outmaneuver the orc and take it out using his Omnisword. Later on, Yuuya is seen walking down the street, worrying about the girl he rescued from the orc attack. Meanwhile, he starts to attract looks from other people around him because of his looks. Embarrassed, he rushes off to find a new shirt. He is approached by two ladies who try to hit on him while he is shopping, but he politely declines their advances. When a beauty agency manager sees him, she decides he would make the ideal model for her company. He agrees when they ask him to serve as their model. The girl he saved from the orc attack, who is actually Princess Lexia von Arcelia, wakes up following the photoshoot and remembers the man who helped her. Storming out of the mansion where she resides, she resolves to find him. During the photoshoot, Yuuya realizes that modeling is not as easy as it looks on the surface. The other male model, shows up late and tries to make unwanted advances on the female model Miyu. Yuuya steps in to protect her and knocks Sho to the ground. Yuuya declines the offer to work for the beauty agency, despite the manager being impressed by his abilities and inviting him to do so. Instead, the manager gives him several outfits in his size as a way of saying thank you. This is another instance in which we see Yuuya's best quality, his dedication to his morals, shine through. Even though he has only become conventionally attractive very recently, he doesn't take advantage of his good looks or become narcissistic. Meanwhile, Lexia returns to the forest and is attacked by monsters. She is once again saved by Yuuya. The episode ends with Lexia proposing to Yuuya, who is completely caught off guard by her sudden confession. And that's it for the recap of the first 3 episodes of I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World. We've seen how Yuuya has adjusted to his new life in Another World and how his cheat skill has helped him overcome various challenges. From being invited to a new school by the prestigious Usei Academy's chairman's daughter to becoming a male model and receiving a wardrobe worth a small fortune, Yuuya's life in this new world has been nothing short of exciting. And let's not forget his heroic acts of saving the injured girl from the orc and stepping in to protect Miyu from Sho's advances. It's clear that Yuuya's courage and selflessness have earned him the respect and admiration of those around him. But as the story progresses, it's evident that there are still more challenges and adventures that await him. With his growing strength and skill, Yuuya is ready to face whatever comes his way in this new world. So, if you're a fan of action-packed isekai anime with a touch of romance, I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World is definitely worth checking out. Stay tuned for more exciting adventures as Yuuya continues to navigate his new life in another world.